And we're not just talking like, oh, florals for spring. Like, no, we are talking about like research.
Smart glasses is growing really fast, but at the same time, we're seeing lots of concerns.
If you're talking to a clinician and they don't believe in the treatment that they're offering you, why on earth would you then invest your money?
Innovation is not the issue. It's not that we need to get back in the lab and figure things out. We've kind of figured things out, right?
They are the two subcategories that we follow that are showing the most strongest growth.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Because we need to talk about these other trends before we delve into Myopia and what she's up to. Welcome to this special episode of Beedie on Eyewear, the podcast brought to you in association with Euromonitor and Hoya. I'm your host, Beedie, optometrist, content creator, and spectacle maker. And today we're going to be discussing the top 5 trends in eyewear with 2 incredible guests. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode, and so you can look at previous episodes via the link in the show notes. Enjoy. Natasha and Charlotte, welcome to the show.
Hi.
How are we doing?
Good. Very well.
Yeah, really
good.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for reaching out about this. I really appreciate it. Great idea.
I'm so excited.
I mean, me too. I've really been looking forward to this. Now, I want the audience to know who you guys are and what you guys do, okay? So I'm going to let them kind of know who are these beautiful ladies that are here today and why are they here, okay? So Natasha, you are the Global Insights Manager of Eyewear at Euromonitor, and you have over 20 years of experience in research, which is, I mean, that's a lot of years experience. You also lead Euromonitor's global research on the eyewear industry, hence what we're going to be discussing today. And you advise clients across the eyewear industry and have a special interest in how companies rethink their business models to adapt to new realities, which is important because things are always changing.
Yeah. We give companies solutions and strategies to help them build their business like cases and their business models.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Charlotte, you are a qualified dispensing optician.
I am.
And you have over a decade of experience in the optical industry.
Yep.
You have developed a specialist focused in myopia management, and now you work as a myopia consultant for Hoya.
Yes.
Which is, again, why you're here, because you have things to tell us. And you say that your passion, specialty lies in advancing clinical knowledge and supporting people like me, eye care professionals, to deliver solutions for children with myopia.
Yeah, so my whole role at Hoya is sort of kind of spreading the knowledge and the information about myopia management, supporting clinicians, whether that's an optometrist, a dispensing optician, or even just optical assistants that we have in some of the multiples, giving them the confidence to actually be able to talk about myopia management and what the interventions are and what's suitable for each patient that they're seeing. So yeah, that's kind of what my role is. I do CPD and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, which I need. I'm so behind on my CPD points. Yeah, I'm so behind. Help me. So today we are discussing the top 5 trends in eyewear, right? And we're not just talking like, oh, florals for spring. Like, no, we are talking about like research. The discussion is centered around research that Euromonitor have done, and the content of different reports that you guys have done, right? So I'm going to defer to you, Natasha.
Of course.
So can you tell us kind of about the research behind these reports? Like, how did we get the data that we're about to talk about?
Okay, well, first of all, in the 25th of May 2026, that's when we published our most recent data for eyewear. So the most recent data set in eyewear was published. And then 2 weeks later, we published the world market for eyewear, and then most recently the top 5 trends in eyewear. These are 2 briefings that have just been published, and I've written content for. But we get the information. It's a big process. We have a lot of people working on eyewear, so it starts in around March time, and we have lots of local analysts, 32 local analysts working on the ground in their markets.
So is that 32 different countries then?
Yes, across the world. So in Europe, the Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Asia Pacific, North America, Latin America.
All over the place.
Yeah, so we've got 16 offices.
Huge.
Yeah, we've got 16 offices. So some of them are based in the office and some of them local, just the analysts that we work with. So they're working on the project during March and April, which is a really good time because that's when some of the trade fairs are taking place, so they can go and, you know, we have 100% optical and other trade fairs. So that what they do is they go to talk to the leading players. They do trade interviews with the leading players. They go into stores, they do store checks, online checks. They look through like local annual reports and different public sources, and they gather all the information, trade press as well, to kind of get the data on a local level. But then we have global and regional analysts as well working on the data, and they get the data like from also trade interviews, but as well as that, like public reports, like 10Ks and annual reports, and that we kind of reconcile what's going from the global level and what's coming up from it's like a top-down, bottom-up approach, let's say.
Everything's covered.
Everything's covered. And I go round to all the trade fairs across Europe, and I'm gathering information to kind of understand the trends. So that's how we identify the trends, because each analyst is given a list of 12 trends, and they identify which 3 are the most important for them.
Right.
And that helps me to that guides me which ones are the important ones.
I can imagine that would vary depending on where everyone is placed, right? Depending on what country they are, trends would vary.
Yeah, in Asia it's completely different. You know, in Asia we see a lot of like coloured cosmetic contact lenses. It's not that, you know, popular here at the moment, but
I feel like it used to be.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad it's not anymore.
Do you remember the dailies ones that made you look a little bit like a vampire?
Yeah, like they just never. That's one of my like pet peeves. I'm like, colour contact, girl, sort it out.
but they're huge over there.
They're really popular over there. They make what's the top colour? Would you know that? I would reckon it's probably like blue or something.
I'm not sure.
That would be my guess.
I can imagine blue.
That would be my guess.
Popular.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into, because there are 5 specific trends that one of the reports mentions, and we're really looking forward to talking about that. Can we kind of talk about some of the general trends, like the global trends that the reports uncovered, because they differ, right? Countries change.
Yeah, so from a global level, we've seen the global eyewear markets reached 171 million dollars this US dollars this year in 2026.
171 billion.
Yes,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's so much money.
And it grew by 4%.
Wow.
And that's in current fixed terms, and that's around 1% in constant fixed terms. But yeah, this is driven by like premiumization, customization, all different like trends. But also there's the structural trends like population, the increase in population. We're seeing also
could aging population have something to do with
population,
that? Because
exactly.
people are not dying. Yeah, they are living.
Yeah, they're living
really
longer,
long time, and so they're buying for longer.
Yeah, and their eyesight gets worse.
Yeah, they require more from their spectacles.
That's a huge. Yeah, that's definitely one of the main factors driving. But also we're seeing a rise in myopia, and that's affecting the younger population. So we have the older aging population,
right? Presbyopes.
Yeah, presbyopes, and then we have the younger population. Unfortunately, due to the being on screens all the time, we're seeing a rise in that as well.
Yeah,
those 2 trends are hugely impacting the growth, but also we're seeing more releases of more new launches products coming up, and also the tech advances. That's also helping to drive the trends in the industry. Drive growth.
I've got here as well that spectacles are still the main revenue source in the eyewear market.
Yeah, they're the biggest revenue source in the market, driven by premiumization and customization. And new launches as well, but also we were quite surprised to see there was quite resilient. Should I say sunglasses were resilient in 2026?
Why was that surprising?
Because it's more like a
like a luxury, isn't it?
It's a luxury. It's not something that you need. Yeah.
Even though we know you do need
Yeah,
it. But
Yeah, so
I need it.
but in China, they've been seeing a lot of quite strong growth there, and that's been driven by like some regulation there, which is like forcing companies to be selling more stronger, better brands. So that's helping. And China, of course, is a big market. But we're also seeing contact lenses showing strong growth.
Daily disposables.
Mainly. They are always the big driver because of the hygienic, and
the convenience. I'm a daily disposables girl. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
And I just think it's just so much easier to just like bloop bloop. I don't have to think about. I'm not getting solutions. I'm not. My case like I just one and done.
COVID. I mean, during COVID, I was wearing my glasses all the time.
Yeah.
But now I do a bit of a mix.
Same.
I wear my glasses maybe during the week, and at the weekends I wear my contacts. So it's much better to have dailies.
Yeah. So that made I wasn't surprised to see that was growing.
Yeah. But it's always been a trend that dailies have always been popular. But like in markets like the UK, it's doing very well already. It's been doing well for a long time. But other markets are like catching up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
We're ahead for something.
Yeah, we are. We are ahead.
And then speaking of contact lenses, myopia control lenses.
Yes.
I mean contact lenses and also spectacle wise.
Well, they are the two subcategories that we follow that are showing the most strongest growth. So they're double digit.
Wow.
Well, it's 20% growth for spectacle lenses, myopia control spectacle lenses, and around 12% for myopia control contact lenses.
Is that 20% up from last time you had
from last year? Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Year on year, 2026 growth.
I mean, it makes sense. Like you were saying, everyone's myopic these days.
Yeah.
And now we have something we can do. I mean, and again, spoiler alert, because we are going to get more into this later on. But now there's stuff we can do about it. There's something we can give to help to slow down myopia, which I wish I had.
Oh, me
back
too.
when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
All three of us are myopic in here, aren't we? So
exactly. So
It
who
would have
knows
been
what
really
would have been.
Yeah.
I might have just stayed at -1,
But I think the awareness is growing. I mean, we're seeing, the parents are becoming more aware, more conscious about this, and they want to help their children. And also the eye care professionals, they're obviously being trained, like...
Yes.
Due to people like yourself.
I go round and do training for all these eye care professionals, and you're seeing the confidence in them grow more and more each time I speak to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, is the confidence in the data and the evidence behind it.
Okay, like believing in what they can do.
Yeah.
Which is important. I mean,
really
even
important.
when like anti-reflective coating and stuff came out, it's been out, but like when I was qualified enough to be talking to people about it, I found that when you believe in something and you go, this is actually something good, it doesn't feel like you're selling.
No,
It doesn't feel like you're trying to get your conversion up or get someone to buy something they don't need.
Yeah.
It feels like you're telling someone you care about, listen to me, this is going to be good for you, get it. And I think that myopia control is a similar thing.
So, I would agree, absolutely. And I think if you think of it from a patient perspective, if you're talking to a clinician and they don't believe in the treatment that they are offering you, why on earth would you then invest your money into that product when the person that is essentially selling it to you doesn't believe in it themselves?
And sometimes I feel like it's not so much a lack of belief in the product, it's a lack of knowledge in the product. And
confidence,
so you're not confident enough to talk about it. Yeah. And let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Because we need to talk about these other trends before we delve into myopia and what she's up to. So top 5 trends, we are gonna kind of just briefly go through them, right? So the first one, and these have really cute names. Who named these? Was this you?
Me.
Oh, so you, Tash, love that. So number 1, seeing through the storm. Let's talk about that one.
Well, that's all about the macroeconomic pressures, trade policies in the US, all impacting the way eyewear. It's the structural thing. We're seeing lots of change, and the trend is about how do companies respond.
Okay.
So that's about should they be reshoring, taking their production plants from Asia to Europe.
Okay.
Different ways, and making sure that they're able to pass on the cost to the consumer, but in a way where the consumer feels like it's the value for money.
Right.
So, you know, premiumization and making sure that they're selling a product that is actually like selling something that means something. So is it durable? Is it sustainable?
Right.
That has to have like a value behind it in order for it to really sell, you know. It's a similar thing to what we were talking about with myopia control.
Yeah.
Believing in the product, making sure that it's got some kind of value.
So has there been like a lot of companies or a lot of brands who have had to change where they manufacture or had to make big changes as a result of the geopolitical instability?
Yeah, I mean, EssilorLuxottica, they've recently they've announced that they're going to be, and they have a production unit in Asia for their Ray-Ban Meta glasses, and now they're going to be moving them to a place called, excuse my accent, Agordo, I think it's called, in Italy. That's where Luxottica, because it used to be Essilor.
Yeah, before they merged,
yeah,
right?
that's where Luxottica, you know, originated from.
Oh,
so
okay.
now, not only, so the reshoring is a kind of a structural. I can't think of the word.
Yeah, it's like a strategic
plan to help them, but also it's a great way to kind of add value because you're saying it's made in Italy.
Yeah.
So you can justify the cost.
They've kind of gone back home.
It aligns with their heritage, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So that works really
Yeah,
nicely.
Exactly.
So that really works nicely.
And then I guess speaking about them, number 2 is the AI glasses reality reframed.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Smart eyewear is like a big thing.
It's a big thing. We're seeing it all. I mean, I'm seeing it all over my Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I go through it, it's like, I don't know if it's because I've said it, said
They're
it out
hearing
loud,
you.
but obviously smart glasses. We're seeing a rise in smart glasses. Ray-Ban sold 7 million units in 2026, which is 3 times as much that they sold in the previous 2 years.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So it's really growing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a kind of trajectory where there's 2 paths where smart glasses is growing really fast, but at the same time, we're seeing lots of concerns about
Which is valid. Privacy
consent and privacy. And the lawmakers in Europe, especially in Europe, they've, you know, cotton on, and they're all making decisions about where this is going to go. So this trend is really about, like, you know, making sure that the brands that are like new brands that are coming on the market, thinking about how they position themselves in terms of privacy.
In that space.
You know, they should really be thinking about privacy first in terms of their product, or maybe they want to go without a camera.
I mean, I've worked with Ray-Ban Meta, so I have a pair of their glasses.
Oh, you do?
I do. And I think that there are some really amazing features there. It's like, I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. Especially accessibility. Maybe people who have like hearing impairments because they've got the speakers on the side, all that kind of stuff. But the privacy concerns, I think, are very valid.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes technology is moving faster than legislation.
Yes.
And then it gets very murky and very weird. So like even with those types of glasses, there's people who like film people for content and they don't know they're being recorded.
Yeah.
As much as there is the feature of like the lights flashing, people have figured out how to like
cover them up.
And all that. So, you know, I think I think that, like you said, there really needs to be legislation catching up with the technology so that if that trend is to continue, or if those glasses are to be beneficial, it's not harming anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is the concern, especially as women. It's
like, massively. Well,
guys,
what's to stop someone from filming you in the gym and you not knowing, or in like the changing room at the gym, for example?
I think sometimes the argument is that like, oh, but someone can pick up their phone and film you anyway, which people do. But you can, it looks strange when someone is
you kind of know.
You can be aware.
It's much more inconspicuous, isn't it?
Exactly, I think. So as great as the technology is, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I do also think, like you said before, maybe they don't need a camera.
Yeah.
Maybe they just need laws that can get there before the, you know. So I think it'll be interesting to see what the trends is like this time next year.
Yeah, exactly.
And if anything has changed, like law-wise, this time next year.
And if it impacts in Europe, then it will impact on the rest of the world as well. I think we're going to be leading in this
But I think we
regulation.
usually are, because even GDPR stuff,
Yeah.
like Europe are really tight with that stuff. I don't think
Yeah.
other places are
Yeah.
quite as on it.
Yeah. So that's going to be really interesting to see
Yeah.
how that impacts it. First of all, Europe, and then like the US and
Yeah.
the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But I think the third trend is very interesting, which is seamless journeys.
Yep.
And that's about where online meets in store.
Mm-hmm.
So the journey starting with discovery online, of course, these days, especially with the Gen Z
Ads.
consumers. So all online, and even like Gen AI is a new way of discovering eyewear. It's in its beginnings, and then the next stage is the validation, which is the virtual try-ons, which are
Can we
becoming...
go back a second?
Yeah.
So you mentioned about Gen AI. Can you tell us a bit more about that as it pertains to eyewear?
Yeah. Well, just consumers are using Gen AI for everything these days, aren't
So
they?
do you mean that they're like generating images of...
No,
like,
no,
all
no.
their,
no.
what's...
Just to do a search, like
Right, okay.
to say, to identify the best. Maybe they're interested in specific sustainable glasses, and where's the best place to locate those glasses?
Right.
So are they
okay.
like searching in like Chat GPT? Like
Yeah,
where
Oh, I
can
see.
yeah.
find
Okay.
this
Because
or
there's search.
something?
It's compared to Google, or not. It's compared to other searches. It's like gives you a little bit more information. But obviously, there's lots of every kind of. Google has also.
I guess if
AI
people aren't really
agent.
going to search engines as much now, they're going
that's
to
what I mean.
ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever,
Yeah,
and say, hey,
for
girl,
everything.
what are these glasses? I want to get something like this. And
Yeah,
then it'll give them a list.
exactly.
Of, right, okay,
Yeah.
I understand now.
I mean, there's lots of different ways of doing it. Yeah, they could upload a picture. Where does this come? Where can
Right,
I
okay,
find
yeah.
this?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really if you're using it for like everyone's using the use of it is for travel as well. People are using it to go to decide like what holidays they're going
Give me
on.
an itinerary,
The
3
itinerary.
days in Spain.
I just did that for my holiday.
Yeah.
I'm going away with my son, and I was like thinking, well, what's good things to do with an 18-year-old, and
Yeah.
it just gives you real detail. So I think that's where we're seeing eyewear going as well.
Okay.
The validation is also online with the virtual try-ons, which have also
Yes,
become
which have been around for a while, actually,
around
but I
for a
guess
while.
they're getting better.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Snapchat filters. So like before, you'd have your Snapchat filter, maybe you turn and then the filter will lose your face. But now,
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm on Snapchat like that, but now like all those sorts of filters, Instagram filters, TikTok filters are a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
And I can imagine it's a similar technology with trying on different pairs of glasses. It can
Yeah.
match your face and then it can put it on and then you're like, oh, okay, I feel confident enough to buy this thing online.
Yeah.
Or I feel confident enough to go and try something in a shop that's similar to this.
Exactly.
Because I've used this
Yeah.
technology, yeah.
That's exactly what it
That
is.
improves accessibility for some people.
100%.
As well.
Yeah.
100%. I think a lot of technology is great for accessibility, but then it just gets warped
Yeah.
into evil. So no, I agree with that. And then just to end the seamless journeys point, there's a bit about the fact that exposure can then conclude either online or in
Online
store.
or in
And so
store,
I think
exactly.
online exposure concluding with an online purchase makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But we are also seeing that somebody might see something online and then find their way into a store and say, hey, I saw this thing, do you guys have it? Or I saw this, I want to try it on. Which means that it's not necessarily online versus in store, that they actually kind of work well together.
Exactly. That's the exact point that that it's not about like concentrating on one touch point. It's about
Do both.
it's all three touch points.
Yeah.
And the crucial point is that yes, digital tools, they really are important, but they bring you to the in store, and the store is where it's all happening. So the store is where you're going to anchor trust.
And that's where the human interaction
It's
is.
the human
you know.
interaction and the expertise. That's where it's all at. So we can't say, oh, online e-commerce is taking over in eyewear and it will one day. No, that will never happen. They're all going to be very important parts that work together. But the store has to rethink its strategies. If this is like happening, they're going to have to think where they're going to reposition themselves. And they have to really think about putting expertise in human interaction at the forefront of their on in-store journey. But we have like examples in this briefing. There's one in Mexico. It's called Devlin, and it's a retailer. It's like, it's really old. I think it's 80 years old or something.
Oh, wow.
But they've really kind of modernized, and
Right.
and they have got touch points throughout the journey, exactly as I was describing. And they've recently opened a new kind of I think it's called a 3.0 store in Mexico City, and I think it's got like digital stuff in it, but also it's called a phygital. I don't know if you've heard that phrase.
No, I have not.
It's a phygital because it is online and in store, so all of it, you know.
But when you say touch points,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Like, what sorts of things would you expect going
So
there?
the different touch points are the like discovery online, validation on the virtual trials, and then purchases in store online.
Right, okay.
So all those three touch points need to work smoothly together.
Right, okay.
Omnichannel. We call it omnichannel. We have very many phrases that we
You've got
use.
loads of things.
Yeah. So it's like across all channels that has to work, not just one channel.
Yeah, which I
not
think
focusing
makes a
on
lot
one
of
channel.
sense.
Yeah,
'Cause there
even
are
for the
not-
independents.
And so this is the thing. There are now, you see loads of online eyewear brands, right?
Yeah.
Now have stores.
Yeah.
So they've come from the internet to now open up like brick and mortar stores.
That's phygital. That's
yeah,
what phygital
and so
is.
I think it just goes
Yeah.
to show that actually like online is not necessarily your enemy, because they can appreciate the need for a brick and mortar store.
Exactly.
I think actually I've always felt that especially independent brands, like it would make sense for them to be independent opticians. I mean, it would make sense for them to be at the forefront of the online space, right? So knowing that so for example, Cubits does this, right? You can buy glasses online from Cubits, but you can also go into a store where you can go and have an eye test. And if something is wrong, I can go in and be like, hey, this is still affiliated with you. Here is somewhere
I need
to be.
my glasses fixed.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
So I think that it doesn't have to be one or the other, and the trend
That's
supports
exactly
that,
it.
basically.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what the trend is. Yeah.
It would almost be really cool if like the frame manufacturers could work with certain independents and have like, this is the sort of patient chooses the frame, so they try it on the website, and then it has an option there with a drop down of various different independents that supply that frame.
Yeah.
This is where you can then go and buy the frame
try it
from
on,
this specific
Yeah.
get dispensed
independent.
there,
And then
Yeah.
the price will be the same,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So number 4 of our trends, the beautification of eyewear.
Yes.
I like that. That
I
sounds
know.
kind of like, do you know what I mean? La la la. Talk to me about that.
So what we're talking about here is we're talking about several phases in eyewear. Fashion has been around since the 1950s.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
looking at
look at
like
your cat eye.
Wayfarer, the Ray-Ban, that's been around since the 1950s, starting with fashion. Now, recently with Meta collaborating with Kylie Jenner.
Oh, the Meta glasses.
Yeah, that's fashion has always been part. That's a given, and then we have like the health side of things. So during COVID, I think COVID brought more awareness for health, and we saw more blue light and more kind of UV products coming on the market, and consumers were becoming more concerned about their health in general, and eyewear kind of benefited from that. Then now in 2026, the trend is all about kind of eyewear colliding with beauty. And I know you're going to ask me the question about what's different
Girl, what
between
are we
the fashion
saying?
and
What's
beauty.
beauty versus fashion? What do we mean? What do we mean?
Because we had this discussion earlier. But so fashion is more like style. It's about
Accessories.
personality, accessories. Whereas beauty is more personal. It's about your face. So it's about like daily routines and rituals. And that's something that eyewear could like really get into, because they'll find new customers from getting into like the eyewear space. Like,
I mean, definitely with rituals. Like my ritual is I wake up in the morning, I find my glasses, I put them on, and then the day starts from there.
Is
Do you know
that
what
what
I
you
mean?
do?
I mean, I don't. That's it. I don't even. Anyway, so literally, that is part of my daily ritual. It is it's part of my face.
But there's with the moisturizers, the makeup, I have many steps.
Yeah,
I don't know
you
if
have
I
a routine.
I definitely have a
Yeah,
routine.
Yeah,
routine.
same,
I have
same
my
girl.
my eye cream, and then my moisturizer, and then my
your
factor
retinol,
50.
you got your salicylic acid.
Well, I don't have
things.
that. Oh yeah, and I have my collagen. I have, oh my goodness, too many things.
Yeah.
But that's my daily routine. But like companies like AccuView, they've partnered with Clinique, for example.
Okay, yeah.
To try and like educate consumers about like being confident about wearing contact lenses, but with their makeup. So it's kind of like bringing in the different kind of customer and like focusing on like how, and we were talking about color cosmetics at the beginning, but these are the products in eyewear that are bringing this trend to life in Asia, specifically in Asia. But we're also seeing in the US it's a huge market for color cosmetic, cosmetics, color cosmetics in general, but also cosmetic contact lenses. And we're just seeing that this trend is becoming more and more popular, and K-beauty is also a driver, a big feature,
drive,
like for all across all industries. So it's not one that's here now, but we're saying to watch out for that, because it's and it's good to collaborate with these beauty brands if you want to get some different new customers in.
You could do like a real focus on lenses that have, you know, more UV protection in them as well, because like if you're putting like your SPF on, you don't really want to be going too close under here, and no one's putting it up here. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not putting it on my eyelids. But you know, you can collaborate with someone who focuses on SPF with a pair of glasses that have
sunglasses,
UV protection in them. Exactly. And that would kind of fit in nicely with that.
Exactly. That's a similar thing to the AccuView and the cosmetic. The same customer who is buying this cream is the same customer who is putting in these contact lenses, or who needs to see. That is part of the routine, isn't it? Putting in on the contact lenses, and for us guys just as well who wear glasses, deciding which ones to wear.
Absolutely,
depending on our outfit.
Your mood, what you need from the pair that day. Absolutely. Okay, so we've come to the last trend, which is the myopia blind spot, which this name is so funny. So, and you've put here sort of closing the consumer education gap, which really is the issue. Do you want to talk more to that before we get started?
Yeah, well, there are some amazing products on the market, like MyoSmart, Stellest, MySight. They're all really good products, and they've got the science behind them, they've got the innovation.
So innovation is not the issue. It's not that we need to get back in the lab and figure things out. You've kind of figured things out, right?
Exactly. We've got the solutions. So that's not the issue. But, and don't get me wrong, sales have been growing really fast, because like I said, they've been growing 20% for spectacle lenses, 12% for contact lenses. So it's not the problem that they're not growing, but there is more potential. There's to still gain. Probably is the point that I want to make, that as we were speaking to our Jamal before,
shout out Jamal.
He was you said to him he was myopic, and he said
no, I'm not.
No, I'm not, because he doesn't know.
Yeah, and then I was like, what's your prescription, Jamal? And he was like, minus. I was like, babe, you are myopic.
Because he doesn't know the word myopia, and that's the problem. The awareness from consumers about what are we
talking about?
What are we talking about before even knowing the problem? What are we talking about?
How can we talk to you about a solution when you don't know what the problem is? Which I think, Charlotte, would be amazing for you to jump in here, because we are talking myopia, and there are people who listen to this show who just want to know stuff. You know, they're not necessarily clinical. All these words might evade them. So let's talk to them and kind of just strip it down to the basics and say, hey, like, what is myopia, and what do we mean by myopia management and myopia control?
So myopia, essentially, if you're myopic, you are short-sighted. And what that means is that you can't see far distance. So for the three of us in here, we're all short-sighted of varying different degrees. Certainly for myself, I'm around a -7. And that means that without any kind of correction, I can see about probably, what is that, maybe 15 centimetres in front of my face, if that.
Such a dear. It's a working distance.
You know. So that's what that is, and it can start from quite early childhood. But I think one of the things that we often hear from parents is that, you know, they might say, oh, well, my child is fine, they're not complaining. But children don't realize that what they're seeing isn't
Is any
necessarily
different.
normal. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people still think that the school screening is happening in every single school,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Do they still do that?
They
That's
do
how
it
they
in
call
some
me.
places. In some places,
they?
yeah.
Okay.
So Shelley Saunders, who is she's a lecturer at Bradford. She's done a study. Her PhD was on this, looking into school screening. And there's a lot of areas across the country where either it's been removed, or it's just falls below sort of the recommended levels.
Wow.
And there are still some areas where they do have it, and it is
So it's kind of like a
working
postcode
well.
lottery, like just
Pretty
depending
much.
on where you are. If it.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's really
really?
interesting to see. Yeah, you can access it online. But also that school sort of screening, it's designed to pick out patients who are sort of maybe amblyopic.
Yeah.
Because myopia doesn't always start at that age at the start of school. So school screening is generally done on school entry.
Yeah.
But for some patients, myopia starts a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really important that parents understand that, and that they understand that they need to go into their local optician to have an eye examination as part of their routine checks.
Yeah, same way you go to the dentist. And I find that
Exactly.
parents who are not myopic, they don't understand
Yeah.
it. And I mean, I did an episode about myopia control in season 2 of this show. And we were talking about the fact that sometimes parents, they don't understand. They don't get it. They kind of just feel like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you can't?
Yeah.
And my dad was like that. Like, he would be like, oh, you can't see that. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't fathom, like, that I couldn't see it.
They can't understand
They can't.
it.
Which, I mean, I get it, because you know,
Yeah.
why would you get it? And I've said to parents before, you sit here, sir, and I will put a +3. This is what your child can see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it takes doing that for them to be like, oh,
They
interesting.
then get it.
Then they understand.
Yeah.
So I can't even blame them, because they don't understand that this is what's wrong.
It's just a lack of education.
Exactly, which is
that's
basically
it.
the issue at hand.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of the health visitors don't talk about, eye examinations in
Yeah.
as much sort of detail or as
Or knowledge,
important,
yeah.
or they're not as knowledgeable as they are about other things. So there is just an overall lack of education. And even when it comes to myopia management interventions, I think something like 1 in 5 parents don't realise that there is something there that is available to them to help slow down the progression of this short-sightedness. So Abdo, they did a survey recently about, they actually worked with Mumsnet, and they did a survey about
that's
like
such a good
knowledge.
collab.
Yeah, it's really good. So it's
That's
out
such a
there.
good collab.
I'll send you the link
Yeah,
so you
I'll
can
put
put
all
it in
of
the
them.
notes.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's really interesting to have a look at that and see what that knowledge gap there. It's quite broad, and it
Yeah.
varies across different people. So
Yeah.
for sure, that's something we need to, as clinicians, work on. I think we've got to take up that mantle.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if not us, who?
Exactly. Yeah.
Who else?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
you find that there are some parents who are incredibly well researched and very intentional, and they will come in and say, hey, I've looked at this, and this. What can you tell me about that? Love parents like that. Yeah. It would also be great if they were met with somebody who knew what they were talking about. But also it'd be great if parents didn't have to be that way, so that we could say, do you know what? This is your kid's prescription, just so you're aware. This is something that can help to slow it down, proven by science, all that stuff. Because with myopia too, it's more than just, oh, it's a bit inconvenient actually, needing glasses and contact lenses. Gets kind of spenny. Oh, it's raining now. Oh, my a little bit jarring. It's more than that, because actually high levels of myopia can lead to pathology, right? And as we mentioned before, no one's dying. We're all living really long, okay?
Yeah.
And so if you have a retinal detachment at 35, you probably have another 45, 55 years to live with whatever damage was as a result of that retinal detachment. So actually, it's in our best interest to not be myopic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be
of
nice
course.
to be as non-myopic,
As emmetropic as possible.
thank
Yeah.
you, girl. As emmetropic as possible, because like myopia, do you know what I mean? She's not a great girl.
We when I was saying that we do the local research on the ground, and we have an office in Hong Kong.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking about myopia control with the Hong Kong analyst out there, and she said, I'm looking around the office, and actually I can't see anybody with glasses here. And she said, you know why? She said, because in Hong Kong we know all about these. Our parents knew all about these solutions.
As in they're not myopic. Or
No,
that
because
they're
they've
just-
used these solutions. They've used
Okay.
Ortho-K.
Yeah.
They've used, myopia control contact
I mean, the
lenses
rates of myopia are supposed to be much higher, especially in Singapore, right? The rates of myopia are so much higher. It kind of explains why they have taken, I mean, which we'll get to now, I guess, the data, why it's so much more, the adoption rates are a lot higher in places in like Asia, right? So specifically South Korea, Singapore, China. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, here maybe the rates aren't as high, but do we want them to get that high before we start doing something about it? Or do we kind of like do something now so that the kids can see, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let's talk more about that then. What does the data show when it comes to myopia control in the trends report?
We're just seeing that myopia control is obviously, like you say, very high in markets like China, Singapore, South Korea, but they're using, they're just very, obviously they've got a lot of school screening and they've got the government behind them, but they have ECPs, the eye care professionals that are getting together and doing things as a group. But we're seeing some interesting case studies that come from like that area of the world, and in like South Korea, I think it is, they have it's India, on own days. Yeah, they're doing something very...
Oh, they have Singapore as well, own days.
They're using like social media, like short videos, or maybe even like
TikTok
or YouTube, to kind of identify or get into with the kind of the parents. And these are like becoming Gen Z parents. They obviously they're like millennials and Gen X, but then if you think about it, like the age of a child that starts to get myopic is like from about 6 or from the solutions up until the age of 18. So that's a lot of different generational parents that you're targeting, and we're going to have to start targeting the younger generation more and more through, and that's why social media is a big thing,
really effective.
But we have a statistic somewhere where I think it's 53% of respondents from our survey, they say that they appreciate like
medical professional opinions. There's 52% on that same report said that they are concerned about their vision, and 53 said basically I kind of rate when a medical professional is telling me stuff about my eyes, so they actually respect what they have to say. And so if we know what we're saying, then there are 53% of these people who it's like, oh, they'll actually listen. I know with social media it can be a bit like a bit techie at times, because people almost want to disbelieve. It's like, oh no, I don't believe that. Like, I can do my own research, kind of thing. Which
there's a lot of myths and
misinformation and things. So to know that there's quite a large or substantial number of people who actually care about what medical professionals have to say, it's best for you as that medical professional to know what to say. And then also there, I think it was Own Days, Singapore, that were kind of, instead of using sort of like influencers or commercial influencers, they were more using healthcare professionals as people who were saying, you know, hey, this is what we do. So it was kind of like a bit more credibility to what is being said, at least for those 53% that care about what a medical professional has to say.
Because you know, people, some brands are using like influencers, but I think the point is, like you say, they have to be medical professionals for the consumer to really like take note and take it on board. But then we saw in China as well, they're just on the point we were talking about AI agents. They're creating an AI agent just for myopia control.
Chat myopia.
Chat myopia. So when a consumer goes in, like before they have a consultation, they might decide to look at this AI agent and to like discover, you know, what is myopia, and ask lots of questions before going into consultation. That means that they're more educated before the arrival,
which is great. I mean, I read I couldn't find chat myopia, but there was paper on chat myopia kind of explaining what it does and like how effective it is, and I read the abstract. Let me not lie, I didn't read the whole thing. But they were talking about how it's really helpful in terms of allowing patients to understand what is going on before they attend, so that as clinicians, and it's never a waste of time when you're explaining something to a patient, but your time could be better used discussing other things if
Yeah.
they already come with a certain knowledge.
Yeah.
So you understand what myopia is. We can briefly talk about that. But now we can get more deeply into what the solutions are, or,
Yeah.
you know, what my advice would be, or, you know,
Yeah.
make sure your kids spend some time outside as well as using
Yeah.
all those sorts of things. And so I just think I always feel that the more informed a patient is, the easier it is for me to do my
The
job.
customer journey is so much smoother.
Definitely.
So much smoother.
You know, if the testing room is the first place that they hear about any of this, if you imagine being a parent and maybe you don't wear glasses, you're going to feel anxious,
You're so overwhelmed.
There's so much information, but there's also like that kind of parental guilt as well, like
Yeah.
thinking, oh, is there something that I could have
have
done,
done,
to,
yeah.
Yeah.
to stop this? Is it my fault?
Yeah.
You know, and then also they're probably going to have to go home and think about it,
Yeah.
do a bit of their own research, whereas I do find in practices that are sort of very proactive, they have a more proactive sort of approach to myopia management and myopia control. They are the ones who are talking about it where appropriate, of course,
Yeah.
and where relevant,
On
with
multiple
those
points.
earlier on in the customer journey,
Yeah.
and giving the patient a bit more information so that they're not just bombarded with this, you know, decision in the testing room,
Yeah.
and that's the first time they've heard about any of this. It's a little bit overwhelming.
And then you're looking at your clinic like, oh, next one's here, and then you don't give them the time, and then it's just, so yeah, I think, and it being, you know, it was developed by like professors in Hong Kong University, so it's not some random quack that's gone.
Yeah.
It's people who know what they're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
I think
So-
it's in its early stages. It hasn't actually
Fine,
been
okay, yeah, that makes
launched
sense,
yet.
because I was like, why can't I find
Yeah,
it?
but
Yeah.
it's the
Is that the
idea is
Polytechnic
good.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where we did the studies for DIMS.
Oh,
For
yeah,
Mass
actually, I
Mark.
read that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I thought it looked
Fab
familiar.
University.
Yeah. Should we talk more? Should we talk more about that? About the lenses that you guys offer at Hoya and how they help the girlies to not be so myopic.
Yeah, so we currently actually have 2 lenses now. We've just launched a new lens this month, so in July. So
that,
that's
the
called
IQ?
the MyoSmart IQ, exactly.
So which came first? It was Myosmart.
MyoSmart first,
And then
MyoSmart IQ. So MyoSmart was launched in sort of Hong Kong, China in 2018, and then in the UK it came here in 2021. And essentially what MyoSmart is doing is it's focusing light in such a way that it sort of sends a stop signal to the eye to slow down the growth of the eye to a more normal emmetropic rate of growth.
Because
That's
this is the
idea
issue
behind
with
it.
myopia, right? So your eye is just getting longer and longer and longer and longer.
yeah.
So your axial length, the distance from the front of the eye, the cornea, to the back of the eye, the retina, is growing. And so
Yeah.
light just can't focus where it's supposed to because it just keeps growing, and then you can't see, and then it's like, oh, grow, and then it just keeps growing. So your lenses are basically saying to your eye, do you mind? Like stop with the growth.
Basically,
Okay,
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, while simultaneously we give that, you know, obviously the patient is still getting that clear vision that they
Yeah, in the
need.
center, yeah.
But it's you know, slowing down the progression of short-sightedness, and that lens was really successful. And we've seen, you know, I get colleagues coming up to me all the time, like at 100% optical, you know, saying, yeah, we use your lenses, they're fantastic, I've not had any issues. Most of my patients, they don't see much in the way of progression. And in the studies, the children that had the lenses, they saw 60% slowdown of the progression of myopia.
What counts as progression? So what change in, so say I was -1 and I come in and I'm -150, does that count as progression? Like what?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So that I would, depending on the period of time, if that was in
Of
a
course.
year, I would class that as a fairly rapid progression.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so that in these cases where it's successful, it's less than that, so they're not even like
Yeah.
going up by -0.50.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So if they go up by -0.50 in best vision sphere, we actually provide a guarantee to replace those lenses. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like the threshold for
Wow,
us.
that's
But with MyoSmart IQ, which is the new lens, it's like an updated version of MyoSmart.
Oh yeah, because you guys say Myosmart just got smarter.
Yeah,
I love that line. When I saw it on the website, I was like, oh, you lot.
That's clever.
Yeah, it's very clever.
Very clever.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But it's basically shown in the study. So we've done a 12-month study. So far, we're obviously continuing to study the
To
lens.
follow them, yeah.
But yeah, on average, the children saw no progression in their myopia from the ages of 4 to 12,
Over
and
in
minimal eye
fantastic.
growth. Yeah, on average over 12
That's
months. Yeah, the
crazy.
first 12 months. Yeah.
That is insane.
It's really exciting.
Where was this when
When we were
9-year-old me
younger, yeah.
was, do you know what I mean?
I know.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So
It is, yeah.
So that's the two that we do. But obviously there are lots of alternative products out there. You know, there's so many out there that you can go for, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that the best intervention is going to be the one that the child wears.
Yes, exactly.
You know, I'm a contact lens wearer. It's all I wear, really. I have millions of pairs of glasses, but I wear my contact lenses the most. So probably for me, contact lenses would have been slightly better.
Yes.
But you know,
I'm
fabulous
glasses
glasses. You're a glasses person, and they really suit you.
Thanks.
So you would have been better in glasses.
And also it depends on the age of the child, because teenagers, they start to get conscious about how they
play
look.
sports a lot,
They
that
don't
sort
want
of
to
thing.
wear glasses.
Exactly.
Sports as well. That's a big
How,
feature.
if I'm a parent watching this, or like a godparent or whatever, and I'm like, oh, these lenses sound kind of cool. Like, how is there like a stockist that they can go to, or how do they know how to find?
Certainly for MyoSmart, we have like a list on our website that you can have a look through and find who actually supplies MyoSmart. Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, it's really important to, you know, do your own research as well. So there's a lot of good websites out there for parents. So My Kids Vision is a really great one.
Okay, you're going to send these to me.
I'm going to send them to you as well, so that you can put them in there. And then Myopia Focus is another one that's really good. And then on our website, we have all the evidence papers on there. If people are a little bit more technically minded, they want to read about it, we've got it all on our website. It's easy to access, but I'll give you the link for that as well anyway. But also, if you're kind of not sure what it's like as your child, we've got like a myopia simulator on the website as well, which is quite useful. Exactly. Because again, like you said earlier, parents, you know, and it's totally not their fault at all. They can't, they're not able to relate. So giving them the opportunity to relate, I think, makes it a lot easier to then decide, okay, so what's going to be best for my child.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you find that parents who do have myopia are more likely to uptake?
Generally,
because they obviously understand
they
better.
know what it's like. I mean, you know, I'm over -7 now. My partner he's over -8, and we're very aware of the fact that, you know, should we have children, the likelihood is, because both parents are myopic, that increases the likelihood by 6 times.
Because that's one of my criteria for dating.
on like Tinder,
really? Like myopic.
No myopia.
Soz babe, it's not gonna work out. You know what I mean, I bring the myopia, so you need to bring some emmetropia. That's kind of on my list. So it's so funny.
Unfortunately, he's an optom as well.
Okay, well, love is love. Do you know what I mean?
It was just meant to be.
We're so aware of it because of that, so it's easier for us.
And now I guess, I mean, now there is a solution. I think it'd actually be very interesting to see that if you did have a child, given the genetics,
we'll just do like a clinical trial.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like given the genetics,
not sure about the ethics on that, but
have twins, and then given the genetics, you give one of them the MyoSmart IQ, and then the other one not. And then we see what happens.
There is a guy, and I can't remember the name of him, but there is someone who actually had twins and gave one of them myopia control. I'm not sure what intervention it was, and then the other he didn't.
Oh, right.
And the one with it, less myopia than the one without.
So what you're saying.
The ethics is a bit shaky.
Yeah, that's not.
But the science is sound.
Yeah, I mean, he did it. It wasn't done as like a proper study. It was purely on his own time.
How much more myopic was the other one?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was significant.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And obviously now he feels very guilty. Because
I mean, he should.
Yeah.
If I was twin B, I would be so upset. If I was twin A,
I'm the favourite.
Literally. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I mean, it's nice to know that we have things that are working, because, like we said, back in our day, it didn't exist. So it's nice that actually these things do exist, and now you can more confidently have a child that may not be as myopic as you guys are.
Yeah. It's really, really exciting, and hopefully, you know, the more we as clinicians educate the parents, we can try and slow down that. So 50% of the global population are going to be myopic by 2050, which is insane.
Well, but the Holden.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So, you know, if we could try and arrest that a little bit, that would be amazing. But getting outdoors in particular is one of the most important things we can do for our children.
I think I'm glad that you bring up what we can do as eye care professionals, right? What would you say is the best way that we can go about educating people? So, like, if you can give us like a bit of patter, like what can we kind of lean on? What can we say when I've come in? I've got a kid now. This kid is like -1.
Okay.
Yeah? They've come in. Hey, here's your prescription, -1. What does the eye care professional say to the parent?
So I think you don't want to scare them either. It's a balance of giving the right information and also not scaring
This is
the
important,
patient.
but don't freak out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily life threatening. But what I would say if I had that example come into me, I would say to them, okay, so your child is short-sighted. What this means is that they can't see clearly in the distance, and we have a lot of interventions available now that can either correct the vision, or we have interventions available that can actually slow down the progression of short-sightedness, because we know from most children that when they're short-sighted, that prescription is going to continue to increase.
And people know that too, because how many times have you heard, oh, I don't like wearing my glasses because my prescription always gets worse. They're making my eyes worse.
Every time I go to the optician, it gets worse.
Yeah, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
But it's not because they're wearing the glasses.
It's not, exactly,
no.
and I think that's the thing. But obviously, to them, this is the difference. I put these on, I come back, it's worse. So what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they are aware that things are changing. They're aware of the progression.
Yeah.
And so to be able to say, hey, look,
we have something available that is it's gonna help to slow down the progression, and then you would then go through that product that you're offering the patient and the parent. So whether it's contact lenses, glasses, Ortho K, atropine has been licensed in the UK now as well. Give them all the options, so they need to be able to make an informed decision. Give them the information. So I always recommend that every practitioner has leaflets, and you can get the College of Optometrists, they do leaflets as well on myopia management, so that's really good. And then you have to allow them to make the decision of what they want to go for, and they can't do that without the education. So again, it's not scaring them and saying your child's going to be...
because it can be overwhelming with all those different solutions.
It's very overwhelming.
And I guess, like you said, it's sometimes the parental guilt of, well, what could I have done?
Yes.
I think the other thing that we can't really ignore is the financial burden of them, because they do cost more than the average lens. It would be cheaper in the short term for you to buy a pair of just normal standard glasses to correct the myopia. And I think sometimes people don't feel they can justify spending that much, or just can't afford to spend that much. I know for me, I mean, I don't work in practice that much anymore, but when I do, I will couple it up by saying, look, one thing you can do that is free is go outside.
Yes, absolutely.
That is free for the most part. Yeah. Go to a park. If you're going to read, do it outside.
Yes.
If you're going to be on the iPad, do it outside. You can do all that stuff for free. So there's still ways that we can kind of say, look, we're not penalising you for not having this in the budget right now. But maybe that's something to consider at the next visit. We'll see you in 6 months.
Absolutely.
Like that.
And that's why it's so important to start introducing it a little bit earlier in that customer journey, because, if the patient can't afford it that time, or it's not the right time for them, at least they have a bit more knowledge, and maybe they can go for it next time. Then, like you said, the outdoor time is really important. So we actually recommend 2 hours every single day, wherever possible, outdoors. That's really, really important. And then
I don't even do that.
Yeah, well, exactly. I've got horses, and I spend like an hour outside, and that's it. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
we'll discuss later.
But it's crazy when you think about it. You think you have a lot of time outside, but when you actually add it up, you're like, okay, it's not really that much
outside
time.
to be inside, really.
Like having a dog is important. Then you can.
Everybody should have like a puppy.
We prescribed a puppy.
We were prescribing dogs.
Do you reckon the NHS will ever allow like any like vouchers or like any like allowances towards myopia control lenses? Because do they do that now or no?
They do. They do that in France and Switzerland.
Myopia control specifically.
Covered. It's covered, and
really,
consumers in those countries don't have to worry anymore about
there's
that.
like set criteria with them, and there's different amounts that they cover. But France, I think, was one of the first countries to really bring that out.
Wow.
But for the UK, I mean, we have conversations with them all the time, and in England, certainly you can use part of the voucher towards the frames. But in places like Northern Ireland, for example, I don't think they allow that at all.
But it's the lenses that they're expensive.
It's the lenses that are expensive, exactly. And there are conversations happening all the time. But there are lots of independents and places out there that offer more like a direct debit scheme, so with contact lenses. But they do the same with the myopia control glasses. So then that makes it more affordable.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get various different tiers with that. So I think that's something that if I couldn't afford the amount straight up, I would look into somewhere where
like
I
0% finance and stuff like that.
Some places do that as well. So there's options.
As I was saying, that the growth in myopia control spectacles was actually faster than contact lenses. And I think making a purchase of like a frame and a lens is probably a bit more economical because you don't have to have the expense every single.
Especially as you were saying
term,
that like if there is a change, they will replace it for free. It's kind of like, okay, great. Actually, if there is a change bigger than X amount, then I don't have to now pay for another.
So most of the myopia control lenses that are out there offer that for like there's one free replacement, and then once you've used that, you then pay for the next one, but it gives you that leeway. If they're not doing,
because they're kids at the end of the day. These frames are gonna break.
That's what I was thinking. That it's not like you've got a frame, you can keep it for life. These kids are
and they're growing.
And they might lose them.
Oh, kids, gotta love them, haven't you? Okay, I want to just before we finish, kind of touch on the future, right? Because we have discussed the trends that we've seen now, and I think it'll be maybe we do this again next year. It will be interesting to kind of see what changes there are. But what are you kind of like anticipating for the future? Because you guys are kind of like have to be ahead of the curve. You keep going. The research doesn't stop, does it? Like,
of course, our research. So we research like market sizes for the year. Like this year, 2026, and then we do forecast to 2031.
Oh, mad.
So 5 years ahead.
Yeah.
And we are forecasting that there will be growth over that forecast period. It will be around, I had to look at my papers, it will be around
paper, girl.
4% up to 2031. So, it's an industry where is the need, like we were saying, there's a need for vision correction and also for like myopia control as well, solutions. So it's driven by structural things like aging population, all the factors that we already discussed, myopia, increased myopia like in children. And also companies are getting better at technology within the products and customization. So all these factors are affecting growth, and we are confident that there will be like bright spots in the eyewear industry over the forecast. But at the same time, there are macroeconomic pressures. So consumers will be looking, there's discretionary spend when it comes to sunglasses and products that are not exactly,
like a necessity.
Then, we have to think about that. And I think there's going to be some interesting trends because we have our global consumer trend white paper coming out in November.
Oh, yes,
And there'll be some interesting trends that focus on the cost of living and things like that. So something that we have to consider that consumers, it's like polarization. There's the consumers that are really thinking about the cost of living and worried about what they're spending, so they might be going for the lower cost brands. But then there's also those consumers who are they are happy to purchase, spend more for a purchase, but they have to see the value in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's that value aspect, isn't it?
Yeah.
That underlines everything. It's like everybody has things, right? Somebody might spend like 10 grand on a Birkin because they see the value in it, and somebody might not because they'll be like, it's just a bag. Do you see what I mean?
But for like my smart products, this clinical evidence, that's the value.
Huge amount of clinical evidence behind it. We've got coming up to 10 years of evidence behind it, and there's over 100 papers now on MyoSmart alone. Huge amount of value behind it. And for me and probably for you guys as a myopic patient, knowing what it's like being myopic, the value there for me is like my future child may not have to be as myopic as I
have to go through. I think, and I mentioned this in the other episode, myopia is just so accessible, catered to, right? Like you can get glasses, you can get contact lenses, like it doesn't really bother you that much. You're kind of like groomed into the norm, into thinking it's the norm, but it's not normal. You wake up and then you cannot see things clearly. That's weird.
I wear glasses like in the shower just in case.
That's what I'm saying.
They're really old, but just
you have backup glasses. I remember in my car I would have a pair of glasses if I had contact lenses in, because if these fall out I can't drive home. So it's like it's just the way that your mind works, right? So I don't want to have kids that have to go through that.
I'm the opposite, because I always go in the shower and thinking, where are my glasses? I can't find them anywhere, but they're in the shower.
See, what a life, man.
But also I've missed the boat because my kids are older, so they haven't got.
Are they myopic?
Yeah.
But like a lot or not really?
They're probably similar to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you said
18 plus.
I was gonna say, but then that still would have been if they came out or came here in like 2020.
Here in 2021, yeah, and my sight contact lenses were before that, so the Cooper Vision contact lenses came out before.
I mean, and
then Ortho-K has been around for quite a while. It's been around for a long time, but people don't do it that much.
I just feel like it wouldn't be comfortable. I hate RGB. I mean, I don't hate RGB.
I remember that he loves them.
I remember. You know what? The thing is, they are actually fantastic optically, right? You can see so much better. Yeah. I remember in uni when we had to try them on, and I was walking around like this. And I was like, they're so uncomfortable. But that's me with my regular astigmatism. You know what I mean? And my cheeky myopia, I can wear soft ones. But for people who can't, life-saving, I'm sure. Yeah. Amazing, remarkable, but girl.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. He's trying to get me into them. Like,
and you have to sleep with them, don't you?
But also, you sleep with them.
It's probably better actually to sleep with them.
I think, so you just fall asleep. And
then you wake up, take them out.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of them. You can just get on with it. You don't have to wear anything, ideally. You know, that's it. But they've been around for a fairly long time, but I guess they're not in every single practice, you know, so
less accessible.
Exactly.
And I think even less confidence with fitting those, because with glasses, all right, cool, you do your measurements and things, most people can do that. With Ortho-K, now I'm looking at it's too much for certain practitioners. Some people are fantastic, but okay, cool, guys, like, we've done it. Is there anywhere that I should let people know where to find you? If they say, wow, this has been so informative, I just have to let them know how great this was. Is there like an email address, LinkedIn maybe?
LinkedIn, yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn. Like, I can give you the link to it, but it's just, you just search Charlotte Bell and I'm on there.
And Charlotte's going to give us all the notes so that all the information you guys can listen to and that stuff. And I will put your email address.
Yes, you got my email address or my LinkedIn.
Yep, I can do that too. Yeah. If you guys are still here, make sure you follow, subscribe, share, leave a comment, don't be a hater. Do all those things, okay? And just tell us how great this episode was. And if there's anything else that you would like to see as well. But yeah. Cool. Alright, we made it. Woo! No, you guys did great. But I knew it would be great anyway because the vibes were good on the call. So it's going to be a good time. Alright, so get Jamal to do the things.